They called it Velvet Nights. A place where men came to forget their wives, and women came to sell pieces of themselves. I walked in like I was proud. But inside, I was empty. The music was loud, the air was heavy with smoke and lust. Red lights flickered overhead like warning signs, but I had long stopped reading them. My heels clapped against the sticky floor as I climbed the stage. I didn't dance for fun. I danced because I had no other way to feed my daughter. They threw naira notes at my feet like they owned me. Some reached out to touch me, and I let them. I smiled because it was expected. I moved my body like I wasn't tired, like I wasn't ashamed. But behind the smile, behind the makeup, I was already somewhere else. Thinking about home. About Ifeoma. About how I had to be up early to make her breakfast. From the far end of the room, he watched. Chief Dollar. The man who ran the club. Big, dark-skinned, always surrounded by men with guns and fake laughter. He sat in that booth every night, his eyes on every girl like a hunter choosing which animal to kill next. He had already taken me. I never said yes. But I never said no either. In places like this, silence is permission. That was months ago. I'd never told anyone. What would I say? That I let my boss use me because I needed the money. That night, I made close to 30,000 naira. Enough to pay rent, buy food, and keep Ifeoma's school fees safe. But no matter how much I made, it never felt like I was winning. It felt like I was dying slowly, every time I stepped into that stage light. The music stopped. I grabbed my towel and walked back into the dressing room. The chairs faded behind me, replaced with the sound of girls laughing, bottles opening, someone crying quietly in the toilet. That was our reality. I looked into the mirror. Glitter on my cheeks, fake lashes, sweat down my neck. That wasn't me. That was Queenie, the name they gave me. The name I used to survive. My real name is Amoka. And that night, I reminded myself why I did it, not for the money, not for the men, not even for survival. I did it for my daughter. And every night, I wondered if that was enough. I got home at 4:12 a.m. I dropped the keys quietly, like I always did, and slipped out of the tight black dress that smelled like smoke and cheap cologne. My legs hurt. My back hurt more. But none of that mattered. I had just under 2 hours before Ifeoma would wake up. She never saw me leave. I made sure of that. I entered the bathroom, washed off the makeup, the sweat, and the shame. The water was cold again, Nipah had taken light, as usual. I didn't care. I scrubbed until my skin felt raw. Like I could erase everything that had touched me that night. In the kitchen, I boiled water with the small gas stove. Made pap and akara. Simple food. She liked that. I always made sure her breakfast was ready before she woke up. That was the only part of my life I still had control over. At 6:03, I heard her door creak. Mommy. Her voice. Soft. Pure. Like she had no idea what kind of life I lived. I turned and smiled, the real kind. The only real smile I had left. Good morning, baby. Come and eat. She sat, still in her little nightdress. I tied my wrapper tighter, wiped my face again just to make sure nothing was left. No trace of who I had been 5 hours ago. Are you going to work today? She asked, spoon in hand. I nodded. Yes, but not till later. She looked at me, like she wanted to ask something else. She didn't. She just ate in silence. I packed her bag, brushed her hair, adjusted her socks. She was beautiful, light-skinned like her father. He left when she was still inside me. I never told her about him. Maybe one day. But not yet. When we left the house, I held her hand tightly. Like I was afraid the world would take her too. I dropped her at school by 7:45. Kissed her cheek. Waved as she walked in. Then I walked back home. Alone. Inside, it was quiet. Too quiet. The kind that made you think too much. I opened the drawer and pulled out the small packet. Pills. Cheap. Dangerous. I took one, not because I needed it, but because I didn't want to feel anything for the next few hours. I lay on the floor, my head on a pillow, and stared at the ceiling. This was my life. Stripper at night. Mother in the morning. The locker room always smelled of sweat, perfume, and cheap deodorant. It was cramped, noisy, and messy, but it was the only place where we could drop the act. No music. No lights. Just women like me trying to catch their breath before the next round. I sat on the wooden bench, rubbing lotion into my thighs, trying to hide the bruises from last night's poor sleep. I wasn't as young as the others anymore, but I still knew how to walk a stage. That's why I lasted this long. Ngozi walked in first, chewing gum, adjusting her red bra. "Queenie, you dey craze oh. That your lap dance yesterday and not so the guy they shout like goat." I laughed. A small one. The kind that came out of your throat, not your chest. "It's all they want," I said. Tenny was next. She looked tired. Her eyes had that dark shadow under them. She used to have dreams. She told me once she wanted to be a nurse. But dreams don't survive long in clubs like this. She dropped her bag beside mine and sighed. "I saw that man again today. The one with the Benz. Told me if I sleep with him without protection, he'll give me 100K. I'm thinking about it." Ngozi scoffed. "Take it, Jaya. Wetin you dey wait for?" Tenny looked at me. "Queenie, what do you think?" I paused. I thought about the last time I said yes to an offer like that. The pain. The clinic visit. The shame I buried. "It's not worth it," I said. "Even if it pays your rent, you'll still feel dirty." Tenny looked down. Said nothing. We all knew it wasn't just about money. It was about survival. And sometimes, survival means killing parts of yourself one night at a time. There were other girls too. Sod, who danced with a limp after a bouncer beat her for talking back. Linda, who used to be a choir leader. Now she snorted lines off the back of her phone. In that room, we shared secrets like painkillers. Small truths passed around like medicine, not to cure us, but to numb us for a while. We never judged each other. We couldn't afford to. "I wish I was like you, Amoka," Tenny said suddenly. She was the only one who used my real name. "You still have your daughter. You still have something to live for." I looked at her. At all of them. And for a second, I wished they were wrong. I wished I wasn't still here. Wishing didn't help. "Ifeoma doesn't know who I really am," I said. Ngozi smiled sadly. "Maybe that's a good thing." The room went quiet. We knew we were broken. But we held each other together, like cracked walls in the same crumbling building. I stood up, put on my costume. The music outside was getting louder. Time to become Queenie again. I met him on a Tuesday afternoon, Pastor Emeka. The sun was cruel that day, and Lagos heat doesn't play. Ifeoma school had invited parents for a quiz event. I didn't want to go, but she begged. Said she was representing her class. I showed up plain, jeans, shirt, hair in a bun, no lashes, no heels, no club persona. Just a mother. He approached me under a mango tree. Clean, not too handsome, dusty shoes. Said he was the youth pastor mentoring students, including my daughter. He talked about Bible quizzes and scholarships. I barely listened. His eyes held peace, and I didn't trust peace. Ifeoma introduced me to him proudly. Pastor Emeka helped me. I smiled, but it was forced. He helped me carry her books and handed me a church pamphlet with his number. Told me to call if I ever needed anything. I nodded out of respect. Later that night, I tore the paper, but I memorized the number. Friday came. Club night. Wash night in Lagos. Loud music, sweat, vodka, and stage lights. I danced. A regular customer, drunk and boastful, grabbed my ankle mid-performance. I warned him. He laughed and tried harder. I pushed him, and chaos followed. Big Loco, my boss, stepped in, silent and dangerous. He handled it violently. Backstage, I trembled. Not from fear, but from the reminder that I wasn't safe, not at the club, not from men, not even from my boss, who later touched my waist and whispered, "You know I got your back, right?" That night, I lay beside Ifeoma, smelling of perfume and fear, staring at the ceiling, wondering how much of me was left. Another night came. I wasn't in the mood, but I showed up. Where the red set, the one that always worked. I kept my head down until I looked up mid-dance and froze. He was there, Pastor Emeka. Standing by the bar, eyes wide, staring like he'd seen a ghost. We locked eyes. Then I ran. Didn't finish the dance. I hid in the locker room, wiping makeup off like poison. He came looking. I fled through the back door, took a bike home. That night, I scrubbed my skin raw. Lay beside my daughter and stared at the ceiling again. Why did it hurt so much that he saw me? Why did I care what he thought? I told myself I didn't. But I wasn't sure. Back in the locker room, they teased me about the pastor. Called it love. But Amora, the oldest among us, pulled me aside. Told me not to laugh at love, said it might be the only clean thing left in a dirty life. Her words stayed, but I was stubborn. Wore my pain like armor. We drank and danced that night, but my body was speaking another language, tired, aching, breathless. Something was breaking inside me. Then one night, I came home to find my daughter on the floor in her pajamas. She asked me why I was always tired. Why I had no friends like the other moms. I didn't answer. Just held her tight and cried like a child. The pastor found me near the grocery store. Said he wasn't judging. Just wanted me to stop killing myself. I lashed out. Called him fake. But he didn't flinch. Just looked at me and said, "God still loves you, Omoka. Even if you don't love yourself." I walked away. One night, I opened the VIP room door and saw Big Loco with men, guns, drugs, money. That's when I knew I wasn't just dancing. I was deep in something dangerous. He saw me, smiled, and said, "That's why you'll never leave. You know too much." I smiled back, but inside, I was dying. I told him I wanted out. For my child. He laughed. Mocked me. Told me I owed him. Said people like me don't walk away, we die out or sell out. I had no strength to fight. Then my body gave up. I lost weight. Couldn't dance. Skin broke out. I bled when I shouldn't. Doctors said it's full blown. I didn't even know who gave it to me. Money vanished. I sold everything to stay alive. Just a little longer. Then my daughter got a scholarship, full ride, secondary to university. I broke down in her arms. Proud. But broken. I called Amora. She came. Held my hand. I told her everything. About the pastor. About the pain behind the makeup. About the stage, the silence, the dying. Then I told my daughter the truth, gently, without scoring her. Told her to never live like me. Told her real love walks in the light. Told her not to be too proud to accept help. Told her that prostitution is slow, sweet death. Then I kissed her. Prayed for the first time in years. Now, my body is a shadow. The club is far behind. I watch her pack for school. She kisses me and says she'll make me proud. She walks out with dreams. I stay behind with regrets. If I had the chance, I would have chosen love. I would have left that place. I would have chosen life. But now, I leave this story behind, hoping someone reads it and chooses better. Before it's too late.